the Women's Business Development Center, and we're going to start in about a minute and a half right at the stroke of noon. So we'll talk more then. Welcome everybody. It's noon. This is Meg Herman, Director of Entrepreneurial Services here at the Women's Business Development Center. We want to welcome you to the webinar Virtual Assistants Is One Right for You. Today what you will learn is what virtual assistance is and how it's been used by small businesses. We have a couple virtual assistant practitioners on the line, and we also have a small business who uses virtual assistants on the line. And you'll be able to take a look at how to decide when to use one and how to choose one. I will ask that you put yourself on mute. We will be muting from this end as well, but when we get to the question and answer portion at the end of the webinar, please keep yourself muted, and when you are speaking, be sure you unmute. That's the way we're going to reduce that, hopefully, background noise. I want to introduce each of the speakers, but before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about what's coming up here at WBDC. You may know that we have our annual Entrepreneurial Women's Conference coming up on Thursday, September 26th, in which about 2,000 people come, all who want to work with women-owned businesses. If you haven't put it on your calendar, you should. So look into that. Everything you want to know about that conference is on the website under conference. So please, after this call, look that up and see if that's right for you. If you're not in business yet, we have a workshop for you called Starting a Business in Illinois coming up in early October. I think October 1st. And we also have a information night about all of our services coming up on September 30th. In the evening. So if you want to know more about WBDC, those two things might be right for you. And also we have a business development program. It's a competitive entry program called Plan for Profit, and it's a 12-week program where you actually build your business plan in a facilitated environment with other small businesses who are developing their plans. And you'll have the opportunity to present to each other a couple times and then present to a panel of micro lenders and banks to get feedback from them and hear about your business plan through their eyes. So without further ado, let me talk a little bit about our guest speakers. First, Sue Kramer Harewood is a virtual assistance operation manager. She's also an author, a consultant, a coach, and a speaker. She is CEO of her own business called Peace of Mind Virtual Assistants and the creator of Exceptional Subcontractors. Peace of Mind Virtual Assistants is a full-service virtual assistance firm, and you'll learn more about what that entails during this webinar. And she and her team of veteran support specialists partner with existing small business owners by handling their administrative, marketing, and operation tasks, which allow clients to focus on generating revenue. Sue also consults with business owners considering partnering with a VA through her VA client relationship programs. She's a passionate advocate of the VA industry and has served in professional association leadership roles there. She and a team of VA leaders teach new and veteran virtual assistants through Exceptional Subcontractors course, and students in those courses learn what top firms look for and need in their teams. Topics include things like team communications, ethics, problem solving, time management, accountability, and what kind of services are sought after, and personality profiles and customer service. Elaine Quinn is the solopreneur specialist, and Elaine is well known for organizing time management and productivity, and she coaches and consults solo entrepreneurs and other professionals working from home. Her book, There's No Place Like Working From Home, is filled with practical advice for those who have too much to do and not enough time. She recommends virtual assistants to her clients and uses them herself for exactly those reasons. So, Elaine, we're very glad to hear you from your user perspective today. And then Jackie DeBoer is also a virtual assistant, and she has just moved to New York, but because she's virtual, she can work for you from there. In 2005, following her graduation as a virtual assistant from VAU, Jackie DeBoer established Accredited Virtual Assistants, otherwise known as AVA, to address the need for more flexible office support services for small businesses and for those who operate from a home-based office. With 20-plus years administrative and executive support experience and a strong desire to help others achieve their goals, the virtual assistant field is a natural fit for Jackie. She was born in Great Britain, and she's gained valuable experience working in Europe, Asia, and North America in the medical, legal, corporate fields for small businesses owners and for Fortune 500 companies. In 2009, Jackie achieved the Social Media Specialist certification from VA Classroom and added social media to AVA Administrative, Executive, and Legal Support Services, which is a service that so many small business owners need to do and need to delegate. As a social media VA, Jackie assists clients with the establishment and maintenance of their presence across social networks such as Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And before we go on, let's all remember those who died for us 12 years ago, and just take 15 seconds of silence, remembering that our freedom is hard-won and fragile. And Sue, you're on.
Yes, ma'am. And Susan Deal is also joining us today, too. She's a fantastic bookkeeper. Beyond Bookkeepers has been in business for many, many years. So I just want to welcome Susan Deal. She is a Chicago bookkeeper. And we just thank you, Meg, and the Women's Business Development Center. It is a very special day here in America, and it's a great honor to present this topic to you on this very special day. And I thank Elaine for being with us. Elaine's going to speak to, as Meg said, from the client perspective. So there are potential clients on this webinar, so Elaine is going to talk to you client to client today. And we so appreciate Elaine coming on today. Elaine works with one of my team on a variety of different services, and she'll talk more about that later. And without further ado, what we would like to do is, I'm trying to, yes. We thought it would be a good idea to find out from our audience how many years you have been in business. I know some of you are not in business yet, but we have some business owners on the line as well. So if you would take a brief couple seconds and just weigh in on our poll. If you've been in business, 1 year or less, or maybe you're not in business at all yet, and that's okay. Maybe you've been in business 1 to 5 years, or you've been in business 5 to 10 years, or maybe you are a veteran business owner and you've been in business 11 or more years. So if you could just take a second and fill that out for us, we would love to know who we have on the call. And then we will share, when you guys are done, we'll share those results with you, with who we have on the call. It's always interesting to know. And do we have those poll results yet?
Yeah, they're up.
Terrific. Okay, so we have 36% of our attendees have been in business 1 year or less, 29% 1 to 5 years, 29% 5 to 10 years, 11 or more years. So we have a really good cross-section of business owners today at all places in your business life. And then we have another poll that we thought would be interesting. Okay. What do our attendees think that virtual assistants are? Either a temp working from home, a part-time employee perhaps, or small business owner? And we'll give you a couple seconds to take that poll. Okay, and we've got 80% of the vote in. Wow, you guys really know 83%, and you're right. Virtual assistants are independent small business owners. So very cool. You guys are very knowledgeable already. That's cool. Okay, we're going to move on. For some reason, it's a little... There we go. Sorry, guys, my screen for some reason is a little slow. What virtual assistants are, and I've got a couple of definitions for you from two very important VA associations. The first is IVA, or the International Virtual Assistants Association. We are independent contractors from a remote location, usually home or office. We support multiple clients in a variety of industries. We'll talk about those in a little bit. Providing administrative, creative, and technical services. And IVA is a not-for-profit international trade association that really represents its members very, very well. I've had the opportunity to be on the board, and it's just a tremendous organization. I recommend it to all virtual assistants. Now, VA Networking is an international networking organization for VAs. And VA Networking's definition, which is very similar, a VA is highly skilled independent professional who remotely provides administrative, technical, creative business support services. And VA Networking is vanetworking.com. IVA is ivaa.org. Both great organizations. Some examples of who partners with VAs. What are some kinds of businesses and industries? Consultants, training firms, coaching firms, attorneys. You're going to see just a wide variety and a wide spectrum of companies who work with VAs. And as you see, a lot of these are small businesses. Some are larger, especially, government and corporations. I would say for the most part, virtual assistants work primarily with small businesses. And then this is just a quick cross-section of what is the difference of working, with an employee or a virtual assistant. Employees obviously are working with one company. VAs were small business owners. We work with multiple clients. We invoice the client only for specific tasks and projects. You are not going to pay A salary benefits package, if you only have, say, 20 hours of work a month, you are not going to be paying somebody more than that, whereas with an employee, typically they are getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, every week, regardless of if you have enough work for them or not. Virtual assistants are, as we said earlier, independent professional business owners. We're committed to being a business owner. It's not a hobby. It's not something we're doing until our next corporate job comes along. We've decided and committed to being a business owner. We consult with our clients a lot, as Jackie and Susan can attest to, and also as many of the business owners on this call right now, we select the clients we work with. We know in corporate America that you work with the boss that you're assigned to, whereas with a business owner, we have the privilege to select those clients that we want to work with, those clients that are a fit for us, we're a fit for them, which is great, and it's very, very enjoyable. Employees, they require office space and equipment. We do not. VAs, we set, like any other small business owner, we set our own office hours. We market our clients' businesses, and we understand how to operate a business. And I want to just have Susan Deal speak really, really quickly on the financial piece of how she consults with clients as a bookkeeper, and Susan has been a bookkeeper for many, many years. Can you share that with us, Susan?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Again, as a virtual bookkeeper rather than an in-house bookkeeper, we provide all of the services and take care of all the tasks that an in-house bookkeeper can, but we do that all off-site virtually. So again, our relationship with our with these small businesses are as a client. They are our clients, and we do service them and treat them as clients, but at the same time, because your virtual assistant, whether it is a bookkeeper or another area of business, does become part of your business and a partner in your business. So although it is a client relationship and a virtual assistant relationship with as a vendor really for your business, because of the relationship, the type of relationship we have, we really become a trusted partner and part of your business. So although they are my clients and they're not my employers and I am not their employee, we actually have are considered part of the company on our clients, and most of our clients consider us as part of their organization, as part of their internal trusted organization, but we still have that boundary of treating each other as a vendor and as a client.
Thank you. That was terrific. I appreciate that. Moving on to the ideal client. Sometimes, potential clients will ask us, well, what's an ideal client look like to you guys? Well, we're going to share a few things. Number one, like all the business owners on this call, you want clients that are very enjoyable and easy to work with. When you're working virtually, a good communicator is extremely important, and I know all of us are working on our communication, but having very good and open communication, seeing the value that a VA is going to bring to your business, and I'm going to have Elaine touch on this in just a second. What does that mean? Well, when you're delegating bookkeeping, when you're delegating social media, when you're delegating scheduling, all those traditional time-sapping roles, if you are charging, say, $100 an hour as a client or $1,000 an hour, any time that you can focus on generating revenue and not doing those time-sapping tasks or tasks that you're not good at or that you don't enjoy, that brings tremendous value to your business. Are you a hands-off delegator? That would make you a great VA client. If you're more of a micromanager, you might be better served with an intern or an employee. Do you trust easily, or do you have some challenges in that area? And again, we're all a work in progress, but when you're considering partnering with a VA, adding a VA onto your staff, onto your team, really knowing yourself and saying, you know what, I could be a good delegator. I could trust this person, or you know what, probably not. Then if it's probably not, you may be much more suited to an employee. Are you comfortable working virtually? Do you enjoy, working that way? Are you okay working with somebody that you're not going to see on a daily basis, maybe not on a monthly basis? I know that Susan and Jake, we have clients that we might see once a year. We might never see them. So those are some things to keep in mind. Are you great at respecting boundaries? Do you enjoy working with a peer? Because as VAs, we are consultants. We're small business owners just like our clients. We just happen to have a administrative, financial, creative expertise, but we are the peers of our clients. As I mentioned earlier, our clients focus on the tasks that they can do, that they enjoy, and they delegate the rest. Our clients pay our invoices on time, and I know that Susan can attest to that, being a financial professional. Our ideal clients, they support us. They send us referrals. They give us gifts from time to time. They may, give us bonuses. Again, anything that you would support a peer business owner is what an ideal VA client looks like. And Elaine, because Elaine is one of our ideal VA clients, and I wouldn't just say that because she's on the phone, but she truly is. Can you speak to Elaine, being comfortable working with a VA when you were considering bringing VAs into your business, some of the things that you were thinking about?
Yes. One of the things that you just said, Sue, that I think is really the foundation of a good working relationship is to respect the virtual assistant as a fellow professional. Sometimes when you're not working with someone personally, it's hard to develop that kind of personal relationship. So you just have to take for granted that they're in this business and committed to it as a professional. Now, anybody who uses the virtual assistant would use her or him probably differently depending on the nature of their business. My particular business, there's a lot of online things that I do. So a lot of what the VAs who work with me do is the kind of technical things that would take me forever to learn, and I still wouldn't be sure that they were done right. So such things. Sue, how much detail do you want me to get in at this point?
We can touch more on as we get into services, but I just want to kind of have you give us a snapshot, so that was great.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. How do we communicate with our clients? There's all kinds of different ways, and I'll talk about this later, but I just want to touch on it briefly. When you are interviewing your VA, and your VA will interview you too, keep in mind how you like to communicate. Are you a phone person? Are you an email-only person? Do you like Skype? Do you like to communicate more, on social media? Think about those things. And I get asked all the time, and I know Susan does as well with all the documentation that she does for her clients, how do clients send stuff to you? Well, if it's not online, we use FedEx a lot, UPS, the good old United States Postal Service, fax documents, Dropbox, all kinds of ways. But again, since we're not, outside somebody's physical office, we do rely on technology quite a bit, and the phone, and social media, and of course the messenger services, like I said, UPS and FedEx. Okay, here's another poll that we would love to have you fill out. What are the top 5, and you may not have 5, but this is just something kind of fun. What are the tasks right now that drive you absolutely nuts? And you would say, Sue, Susan, Jackie, I would love to delegate, these tasks right away. And I gave you quite a few. The one that is not on here, and I want to give a shout out to my wonderful team member who helped me with this PowerPoint, is, PowerPoint and Prezi presentations. A lot of us don't like to do them. I'm personally no good at them. So that's why I have my team member, Rhonda Quaddy, who's awesome at it. She helps me with them. So if you would take a couple seconds and just say, hey, you know what, if I had a VA or, if I'm working with an intern employee, these are the things that I love to get off my plate. And we'll give you a couple of seconds to, choose a couple, and then we'll see what everybody is struggling out there with. I know the tasks that we get the most requests for, but everybody is different. All business owners are different. Are we finished up with the poll? I'm not seeing the results. So, but these are some tasks that many clients, love to delegate. Scheduling is usually a huge one. Social media is usually very big. Invoicing, payroll, travel. Some folks, I know that Elaine has had several successful launches that she works with a VA team on. I do a lot of operations with my own clients, editing and proofreading, because all of our marketing materials and proposals are important, and sometimes you just need that second or third pair of eyes to get it done. Okay, we're going to get into the speak. What kind of services do VAs provide? And a lot of it, again, you're going to see is social media. You'll see some social media icons on this. You'll see some shopping cart solutions, QuickBooks. And I've just listed a few. There's many, 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 many different services that VAs provide. This is just a snippet. Some people don't know that if they're an author, that there are certified authors assistants out there that will help them. So again, bookkeeping, and Susan spoke to some of that, e-commerce, shopping carts, product fulfillment, affiliates, event coordination, traditional executive assistance, which is scheduling, calendar management, legal support. VAs work with a lot of solo attorneys as legal secretaries, paralegals, because all VAs came from corporate America, just like our fellow small business owner counterparts. So many of us have, 15, 20 plus years of corporate experience that we, transferred over into our own small businesses. Jackie, can you speak to how you work with social media clients? What are some of the questions that when potential clients come to you and say, hey, I need to get out from this pile of social media. I know I need to post. I know I need to blog, but I just don't have the time. What can you do for me? How do you help them, Jackie?
Oh, I'm happy to talk about that, Sue. Well, I can help them on a number of different levels depending how much their assistance they're looking for. One of the main things I think is really important is social media strategy. I know a lot of people will just go forward and think, oh, I have to be on Facebook, I have to be on Twitter, I have to be on LinkedIn, but they don't really plan for why they're going to be out on those different social media platforms. So what we do is, we talk about what their goals are, what they're trying to get out of social media, and then we pick the most suitable platforms for them. And then from there, I can set them up on the different Facebook pages and get their accounts looking good, and they can either take it from there themselves and do all the posting themselves, or if they find that's just too much, I can take care of the posting for them and monitor their reputation and everything that's going on with their social media.
Terrific. Thank you for sharing that. Susan, can you get into a little bit more of a deep dive of the types of services that professional bookkeepers offer their clients?
We can provide as many or as few of the bookkeeping and accounting functions that our clients need. We have an entire range of services. We offer anything that you would typically have an in-house bookkeeper or an accountant take care of for you, we can take care of. But that doesn't mean you have to outsource everything. So if you still want to hold on to invoicing and do invoicing yourself, but get rid of all of your bill payments and banking and collections and payroll and bank reconciliations and financial reporting for your CPA, all of that can be outsourced. So what we do is we go actually through a laundry list of all the different accounting and bookkeeping tasks that companies have, and we work with our clients to decide if they want to keep those services in-house and do them themselves, or if they want to outsource those services. So we have some clients that we do everything for, some clients we only do 1 or 2 tasks for. So it's whatever the client actually needs. We're very flexible. It's not all or nothing. It's the actual parts of the financial functions of the business that they want to hand off to a professional bookkeeper.
Excellent. And as Susan said very well, is VAs will customize. So you know what? We have all had clients that said, hey, can you just do this one thing? Because that was their biggest pain point. That was their biggest headache. And sometimes they're thinking, well, I don't know if they could do, this, this, and this. So oftentimes we will onboard a client for maybe 1 or 2 things. And then as they get comfortable working with us, they'll say, hey, by the way, can you do this? Can you do this? So we all have clients across the board. Some we work with daily. Sometimes we work with them once a week, once a month, twice a year. It's all customized. So you know what, it doesn't matter, what you come to us for help, it's okay, because I have sometimes clients say, well, I really don't have that much. And I said, well, is it taking you away from generating revenue? Is it taking away from, really enjoying your business? Yes, it's driving me nuts. I said, okay, then delegate it. You know what, it may be, a couple hours of work, a week, and, and it comes out to like 10 hours a month. That's 10 hours that business owner can focus on doing what they do best, and we are taking care of those pain points, and they're generating revenue because they're focusing on what they're doing best. They're working with clients. They're out there talking to, potential new clients, whereas back at the store, back at the ranches, I say, the business is running. It's humming very, very smoothly, but that business owner doesn't have to be doing it. So, and I want to just point out something right here, that virtual assistants is not a fit for every business owner, and that's okay. We're a fit for quite a few, but we may not be a fit for you. You may be better suited to an intern, a college student, an employee. There's many, many different options in today's business marketplace. We are just, one, and we serve a great area, but we're not a fit for everybody. Elaine, can you speak to some of the services that you have partnered with VAs over the years?
Oh, sure, I'd be happy to. And I just want to back up on one thing that Sue did say about delegation. I think if you've come from a corporate background, it's probably a lot easier to work with a virtual assistant because you are accustomed to delegating. And that's certainly something that has made it easier for me to work with a virtual assistant. I have delegated just about everything that's online, pretty much from start to finish. They've created Facebook pages for me, created a newsletter. They have added and adjusted all kinds of things on my website for me. But one of the topics that's come up a couple of times is social media. And what works for me is I generate content, and then they turn it into a newsletter, Facebook posts, blog posts, Twitter tweets, all kinds of, they repurpose that content for me, and they'll even remind me when it's time to generate some more. Okay, we're running out. Here's some ideas that you might want to hit for the next batch of content. So they've entered business cards. You go to a networking event and accumulate a ton of business cards. You do that 3 or 4 times, and you've got so many cards you're never going to get them in your computer. I have shipped off big envelopes full of cards, and they turn them into a database for me. One other thing that's very helpful is there's just somebody I can ask questions of. How does this work? When I like somebody's page, does that mean I'm going to end up with all of their stuff all over mine? What do I do if somebody puts a comment on my website? How do I know if that's legitimate or not? all these little questions that you have, there's somebody to ask. So I rely on them for so many things.
Thank you, Elaine. And Elaine has worked both with solo VAs and she's worked with a team. And what that means is some VAs, and all these are fine, it just depends on what type of business the VA wants to have. There are virtual assistants out there that they are what we call a solo VA, which means they may be experienced in social media, and that's what they support their clients with. And if somebody came to them for, say, operations, which is an expertise that I work with, they would say, you know what, I'm not skilled in that, but perhaps I can refer you to another VA who does. Then there are what we call in the industry multi-VA teams, and that means that all under one roof, you will get soup to nuts. They have, VAs who are experienced in social media, they're experienced in executive assistants, they maybe have come from the legal field, they may be online marketers, and they're really good writers, they know how to market your articles, blog, public relations. I have a great public relations team member, Diane Ennin, who's been in PR for over 30 years. She knows all about PR and media. So that's what a multi-VA firm, so sometimes clients will say, hey, you know what, I really just want to work with one VA. Work directly with them. So maybe a solo VA or a multi-VA firm who will, let you work directly with your VA is a good fit. Or if you say, you know what, I'm fine working with a project manager, and I, like Elaine, I need all kinds of different services. So a multi-VA firm may be great because then you'll have all the expertise under one house. And you may work with a project manager, or depending on how the business model is set up for the multi-VA firm, you may work directly with those VAs. But again, we're all independent business owners, so however our model is created is fine. So you have a great deal of nice options out there to help you. And here's a bunch of different things that I want you to think about. As professional virtual assistants, this is what we expect of ourselves and our clients expect of us, that we are very accountable, we are self-starters, we make decisions very quickly and very well. We listen to what our clients say and what they don't say. We ask, as Elaine said, we ask really good questions. And on the flip side, our clients can ask questions of us. And if we don't know, we will find out. Like all small business owners, we are constantly growing personally and professionally. So we are attending, continuing education seminars and summits and all those types of things. We're very motivated to grow not only our businesses, but our clients' businesses. You'll hear me say, our client success is our success because we are that engine behind them, driving them to grow and to be better business owners. We're very strategic, and I know that Susan, Jackie, and I, when we're out networking and we're working with other clients, we're also thinking, hey, what are some good strategic partnerships for our clients of folks that we know? How can we connect them to other people? And we're also very strategic in their growth. If we see something that may be out of whack, we'll say to them, hey, I see that we're doing this with your business. What do you think about doing that? So you have that consultant with you at all times as a VA. So as you're seeing, you do get a lot of bang for your buck. And as we touched on, but we can never say this enough, ethics, accountability, and problem solving. You want a VA who will be, and this may seem like a silly thing to say, but don't ever assume. You want somebody who's very ethical, always accountable, is a problem solver. And I know Susan can attest to this, especially in the financial markets. Jackie and I do the same thing, but we're consistently working with confidential information. Your sensitive and confidential information to us is very, very important, and we take that very seriously. Any VA that you partner with should have a confidentiality area in their contract. VAs solve problems, and we always provide solutions. We go the extra mile. Whether we are being paid for it or not, that's just all part of being a business owner as we see it. In our last poll, we just want to throw this out because they're all kinds of different rates. And we just want to get an idea of what the audience thinks that virtual assistant rates are. So we'll give you a couple of seconds to fill these in. Okay, so far, and for a large part of the audience has already voted, 25% think rates are between $20 to $30 an hour, 42% $30 to $40 an hour, 25% $40 to $50, 8% $50 to $60, and none so far 60 plus. Well, you're actually all right. Depending on your VA and their expertise, if they're a new VA, if they're a seasoned VA, what they offer, you know, it really truly runs the gamut. As you might imagine, with the more seasoned VA, with a higher, you know, skill level and more expertise, you'll pay more. And in the last couple of years, VAs, like many other business owners that we serve, are transitioning from hourly to packages. Some VAs still work hourly, but for the sake of just getting an audience idea today, I put it in hourly. So again, as we all know, you know, you do get what you pay for, but you know what, everybody's budget is different, and we respect that. So if, you know, you may be a startup, or you may be a small company that, you know, your bill rates aren't that high, so you can, you know, only afford a certain amount, or you may say, hey Sue, I want to work with, you know, the best VA that my budget can afford. This is what I can afford, and you know, I'd rather have, you know, less hours during the month and hire somebody who's more seasoned, who has more resources, knows more things, so I'd rather do it that way. So it truly does depend on the client. What I encourage you to do, and again, being respectful of budgets, is do what I mentioned previously. If you can at all possible work with the best VA that you can afford, thinking long term, because sometimes, you know, you may be limited with somebody who is newer, but again, going back to new VAs, we're all new ones. We all need to start our businesses, so I do encourage you to give new VAs a chance. Just realize that, you know, the learning curve may be a little bit longer. They may not have as many resources, but they will get up to speed, because Susan, Jackie, and I were new ones, weren't we, ladies? And we all learned, and we've grown our businesses, and we appreciate our clients who, you know, gave us a shot in the early days, so we could still be around, you know, talking to you today. Let's talk about when we are onboarding. I'm just going to quickly. What I just talked about is, you know, new versus veteran. There's more expertise, years in business, continuing education. More seasoned people are going to, you know, you'll be able to get come to us more for advice, guidance, counseling, consulting. We've got a lot more resources, connections. But again, it took us time to grow those. The discovery call is what you're going to have, you know, in the corporate world. It may be called the interview. This is where you are going to talk voice to voice with your potential VA. Now, some of us will have you do a little bit of homework before having the discovery call, but I just want to encourage you on the call to, you know, take your time, because this is a person who you are going to become very close to in your business. This is somebody who you are going to hand over the keys to the kingdom. Now, I don't want you to freak out, because I know sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, but that really is what you're looking at. This person is going to help you grow your business. So you want to take your time, invest some time. You know, carve out some time for that call. Before the call, you want to be very, very clear on, you know, what do I need this person, what do I need them to have? You know, skills, expertise, And I talked about budget already, thinking long term. Also think about, too, what is their personality, communication style, management style? Because again, you're going to be very meshed. So you want somebody you really enjoy working with. You know, your culture, your values really mesh with them, because they are truly going to be your partner. And expect them to interview you as well. You know, they may want to check some of your client references, you know, if you've ever worked with a team before. You know, one of my questions I ask potential clients is if I interviewed, you know, the staff or people closest to you, you know, how would they define you? What would they say about you? And some do's and don'ts in that onboarding process. You want to have, and this is when you have said, hey, I'm going to work with this VA, we're going to start going. Make sure you've got those tools, processes, and procedures ready so your virtual assistant can do their role successfully. And if you're saying, but Stu, I hired them to write those processes and procedures. Okay, as long as the VA knows that's, you know, one of their roles is to get you up to speed on those, and that's fine. And again, as I stressed before, do not be in a hurry. You want to ask good questions and get to know your VA. This is a time to let go, delegate, and trust. Now, if you know you have some trust issues, if you know, it may be a while, talk to them in that discovery call and let them know that, hey, you know what, this is new to me. I promise you that I'm going to work on it, but, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a transition point. As long as we know, again, communication is a two-way street. As long as there's open communication, things will go well. And if you are, you know, really nervous, then, you know, we encourage you to start out with a small project and then just, you know, let go more and more from there. And then again, your virtual assistant is coming into your business. Even though we've done research on your business and maybe we've taught some of your clients or your staff, we don't know all the ins and outs of your business. It's going to take us some time. You know what? And depending on how quickly we get up to speed, just, you know, give us a little bit of grace there. And the period is going to vary, you know, depending on how much information you give us. You're really very available for questions, that type of thing. And Jackie, can you talk to the onboarding process for your social media clients? Like, are there things that you need from them, you know, before you come on board so you can kind of get up to speed on, hey, you know, this is how much they're doing on Twitter, this is, you know, their followers, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, great question, Sue. You know, what I usually do is, you know, I have a little discussion with them first and find out what social media they're using at that time. And then I'll go back and I'll research what they're doing so that I already have some kind of idea before we have our discovery call of what's going on for them. And also we have a discussion about what's working for them, what's not. And if they're completely new to social media, then we'll work on a strategy for them.
Okay. And Susan, what types of documents do you need from your clients, or do you do prior to bringing them on board to kind of their overall needs? Or, you know, okay, they've asked me to do, I'm invoicing, they've asked me to do, you know, payroll. What kind of conversations do you have with them?
It actually, I think, mostly goes back to what Jackie was saying, is starting with what they're doing now. So we have to determine what they're doing now and if that is the best way to continue, and we would continue in that same method of what they're doing now, but just take that off their plate. Or if there's something that can be done to improve what they're doing, and then figure out how to work on the transition. So the questions we all start out with is you know, for each area of your business, of the things that we're going to take over. In my case, it's the bookkeeping and accounting. How is it being done now, or is it being done now in some cases? And then we go from there and decide, is that the best way to proceed, or do we need to make changes to that? And then we can come up with a strategy of how to transition the tasks. And then once we determine which tasks are to remain in-house, which tasks they're going to contract out to the virtual bookkeeper, then we send them a list of questions that we actually, or list of documents that we need, such as bank statements and sometimes online access to banking accounts or credit card accounts, or we need to get information from their vendors or from their customers so that we can do invoicing or billing or pay bills. So it all depends on exactly which tasks we're going to do for them, and then what the current status is and how we're going to move forward with whatever of those tasks there are that we're going to take over.
Okay, great. Elaine, could you speak from a client perspective when you are going through the discovery phase and you know, working with your with the VA, things that you have had conversations with them, things that are going through your head?
When I teamed up with the people that you actually put me in touch with, as you may recall, I was in a bit of an emergency situation. I had been working with a virtual assistant. One of the didn't come to me through IVAA, I'll put it that way. And she was great until all of a sudden she just disappeared. So I was very interested in the reliability of the VAs, and that's one of the reasons why I was glad I talked with you, because I knew these people had a history. And I think one of them had even been on the board of the IVAA. So it's important, I think, to try and get some background and some history. How long have they been doing this? And ask for references, who else they've been working for. I also had particular skills that I needed because I was in the middle of a project, and I needed somebody who could pick it up from where it was, which was kind of in the middle, and figure out what needed to be done and then take it forward. So I really needed a pretty high set of skills. And I was able to describe the situation enough that we could determine that this was something that the team could do.
And if you can speak just quickly to rates when you were considering bringing a VA, either your previous one or the ones you're working on now, and you knew what your budget was, were those VAs, you know, in your budget? Did you stretch a little bit? What were your thoughts there?
Well, the very first VA I ever worked with was towards the higher end of the skill level, and she was in the process of transitioning from an hourly rate to a flat rate. And as time went on, I realized that she had a very limited set of things that she had decided she would do for me, and that really didn't encompass everything I needed. And so for the amount of money I was paying her on a flat rate, that just really wasn't a good fit for me. So I did investigate, and I did find this other VA through a freelancer kind of website. And that's the one who was great until all of a sudden she wasn't. So then I went back to realizing that, you know, like most things, you get what you pay for. And getting a top-notch VA was a big stretch for my budget, I'll say. But it's also a huge benefit to me. I've done all kinds of things that I absolutely could not have done without them.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Sue, I would just like to add on to that. Although, you know, traditionally you do get what you pay for, I do want to point out that just because they're more expensive doesn't mean they're a better VA. Just like any vendor you're looking for, or even an employee you're looking for, they come in a full spectrum of expertise and responsibilities, and what they're charging may not necessarily be linked to exactly if they're able to handle the needs you have, as well as what their experience and expertise level. Because there are newer VAs who are going to charge with less expertise who may charge more than veteran VAs. So all VAs aren't the same. When you're picking out a VA, you have to do your due diligence and understand what you're actually getting. So although often you get what you pay for, it's not often always the most expensive means the best.
Okay, good point. And that is true, you know, the due diligence piece. And perfect segue, Susan, because right now we're talking about, so where do I find these lovely professionals that are going to help me with my business? Well, top, and this is true whenever you're doing business, you know, all of us business owners want the personal referral. Somebody who's tried, tested, true, ethical, and you know what their background is, you can talk to their satisfied clients. So personal referrals are always the best, and you are all welcome to reach out to Susan or Jackie or I. If you have more questions, you can reach out to Elaine. And then, as we talked about, the VA organizations, IVA has a directory, and IVA has virtual assistants all over the world. Most of the members are in the United States, and it's ivaa.org is their website. You can also put in an RFP. VA Network, as we mentioned as well, they have a large membership as well, and they are vanetworking.com. You can put in an RFP, you can check out their members. VA Classroom specializes mostly in social media, virtual events, that type of thing. They do have, their membership directory is not public, but you can put in an RFP. It is vaclassroom.com. And then, many VAs are in LinkedIn groups, on Facebook, on Twitter. And again, does it take time? Yes, but as we all know, you want to take your time to invest in the right professional for your business. So we just encourage you to, again, do your due diligence. I run into so many people that, have looked at all these wonderful websites. You can create a wonderful website, but the service provider behind that website may not be the best. So we encourage you to, again, if you have someone who's working with the VA, reach out to them, ask questions, and if you want to look at more places, again, I have a VA Networking, VA Classroom, those types of places are great. And we just want to thank you. We want to thank Susan and Jackie and I. We want to thank the Women's Business Development Center. Meg, we want to thank you and Elaine for everything you guys do for women business owners. And Elaine, thank you for joining us today. At this time, I think we will open it up to questions, if I'm right, Meg.
That's right. Thank you very much. And everyone on the call, Sue, Elaine, and the others on the call are all donating their time and expertise to help you become better and more effective business people. So we thank them extensively for their gifts of knowledge and expertise. And with that, let's open it to questions. And Sue, you want to take the questions?
Sure, and then we can, if they have questions for Susan or Jackie or Elaine, we can divvy them out.
Is there anyone who would like to ask a question verbally? If not, you can also type into the chat. And while you're doing that, I will, once again, for those of you who weren't on at the beginning of the call, remind you that the next big thing that the Women's Business Development Center is doing is our Entrepreneurial Women's Conference, which will be held at McCormick Place on Thursday, September 26th. And we have a full day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. planned for you with guest speakers, workshops, a buyer's mart, and opportunities to foster and develop relationships with businesses that you might work with. So do consider that. Also consider, if you want to know more about our services, we have a session on September 30th called Wisdom, Wine, and Cheese, and that will be an information of all of our services that we have for you, including government contracting and certification and our other workshops. Everything that we talk about is on our websites. All of our workshops are listed under the calendar of events. And then the other couple workshops that we have for those of you who are starting up, since we saw that about a third of you were starting up, is we have a workshop called Starting a Business in Illinois coming up in early October. It's on the website. It's $10 pre-registration. And then if you have a solid business plan and you take a couple of the prerequisites and make an appointment with me, we can explore whether our 12-week program is right for you, called Plan for Profit. And that information is also on the website. So that being said, are there any questions that anyone has? Be bold.
Well, and until that happens, I just want to encourage the attendees. I have been to the entrepreneurial conference a couple of times. I used to exhibit at the trade show there, and just it's a phenomenal conference, a lot of great information, top-notch speakers, so I just encourage you all to attend.
I think we lost you. I think we lost you, Sue.
Oh, okay. Well,
There.
I'm not sure.
Okay, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
No, I was just encouraging the attendees to commit to attend the entrepreneurial conference. I've attended a couple of years when IVA was exhibiting at the trade show, and it's just a tremendous event, top-notch speakers, really, really great information. You know, you meet great business owners, you know, face to face, and maybe, you know, if you're looking to, you know, make some connections with some larger companies, you know, you get to meet those representatives on the trade show floor. So, highly recommend the conference.
Good. And I have in front of me some questions. I don't know if you're not able to see them on your screen, Sue, but Karen Goldsmith asked, where is the trade show? The show that we're talking about, the Entrepreneurial Women's Conference, is in Chicago at the McCormick Place, and all the information is on the WBDC.org website under conference. We have another question from Renee Henderson Mason. Should you use multiple VAs to get the best skills? Susan?
Renee, it depends on you. Multi-VA firms are terrific, and it depends on if you want to work directly with one VA or if you're okay working with a project manager, because all multi-VA firms do things differently. But I would encourage you to probably pursue that option as opposed to if you've got multiple things and you'd prefer not to have, you know, multiple VAs that maybe you have to check in with, unless you have, you know, somebody like me, a project manager and operations manager that will manage that for you. So it really is up to your own comfort.
Okay. We have another question about later, can the PowerPoint slides be sent to our email accounts? And yes, they will be sent to you. We will be sending you an evaluation form, and as soon as you fill out that form, you will have access to the PowerPoint slide. And also then we have another question, where is the conference for new startup VAs and what is the fee? And that's from Karen Goldsmith. Did you hear that, Susan?
There is, well, I'm not sure what she means. There might be two things she's asking.
I think so too. I think
okay.
The conference that we've talked about is our Entrepreneurial Women's Conference. But is there something, I think the question is, if I'm a new startup VA, what resource should I go to first and what would be the fee?
I would say I would become an IVA member, become a VA networking member. There's also a course that I teach. It's called Exceptional Subcontractors. That may be what she had seen. That help if you would like to subcontract with multi-VA firms. It's a course that I teach and about 6 other top VAs teach. But Karen, I always recommend VAs join an organization. You'll learn a lot. So again, IVA is IVAA.org, and then VA networking. Those are great to get started. You'll learn a lot. They have a ton of resources, so I think you'll enjoy those.
Great. And then from Corey also, Corey Chambers, thank you so much to all of you for your knowledge. I'm completely new to the idea of my own business. You mentioned an acronym, RFP. Can you tell me what that means?
Sure. Corey, that is Request for Proposal, and that is what potential clients will submit when they're, say, they need a bookkeeper. So they will submit that to, IVA or VA Networking, maybe VA Classroom, saying, I'm a business owner. I'm overwhelmed with bookkeeping. I need a VA to handle this. And then as VAs, we would, if you're looking for new clients, we would respond to that request for proposal with our own proposal saying, you know, I'm a bookkeeper VA, and this is what I could provide to you, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Thank you, Sue. That is the last of the questions that we have posted. Are there any live questions that anybody wants to ask? We are at the end of our hour and a little over, and that's okay. But if you know, we don't want you to hang up and go like, "Dang, I wish I'd asked."
That's right. There is no stupid question, and you have many, many, many years of experience on this call. So please ask us.
Well, seeing none, I want to thank our presenters for sharing their wisdom and expertise with us, and you've been given contact information. I see one more question. Yay, good for you, Maria. And that question is, will the presentation be available after this meeting? Yes, I did answer that earlier. We will be sending everybody who registered and participated in the call an evaluation form, and when you return that evaluation form, we'll send you the link for the PowerPoint, but we archive all of our webinars on our website eventually. Yeah. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.